And we are live. Welcome everybody to another episode of Midweek Mix-Up with our awesome regular panel here this week. Of course, myself, WandrinDutch, the General Skyrim, Boxenberger, Mick, and Forza Horizon 5 Patcher. Hope everyone is doing awesome this evening. It is going to be, again, more of a, should we say, a games impression show, but there is a few other things to talk about as well. But hope you enjoy it. Let's get into the introductions this evening. First of all, Patcher, how are you doing today, brother? What you been up to? What you been playing?
What's up, guys? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Had some crazy weeks after the vacation again on work, but
Yeah.
that's normal. So, but what I've been doing, Forza Horizon 5, of course, Hot Wheels. Cannot get enough. Like the topic says, we are talking about it, so we'll talk about it later. But I think that's basically what I've been playing the last few days,
Yeah.
maybe a week or something. So, yeah, loving it, man. So
Have you had a chance to jump into PubG's new update and the new map?
Yeah. I did. I think a day after it released.
Same.
I played a few matches.
Yeah.
It plays really well. It's a really big difference if you played it before, of course, and you compare it to now.
Yeah.
It's much better. It's much smoother. For some reason, it looks better. And the new map, yeah, it's a huge map. And they did a really good job on that. So I think with this update and with the new map that came out, it will get maybe a little bit of a boost. But so far, for what I saw, it's a good update. So I like it.
Yeah, we'll definitely jump into that and play some squad games on it. I was playing solo as well the other day, and I tried a few new areas. I tried to go to the city and was killed immediately because obviously they've got huge like city blocks now and things in there, and like there's so much in that new map. It is huge, but I think judging by the terrain and where you can go and the amount of cover you can have and the different types of places you can go, I think it's probably the second best map. I still think Erangel, the original one, is probably still the better one. Overall, It's just, I don't know what it is about Erangel. It's just such a great map.
Because it's the OG map, because that's the map that you start on and you're used to that map. So
yeah,
it will stay always the favorite of a lot of people. And funny you talk about this, but I have the PUBG shirt on. So
nice. It's
it's good.
I'm looking forward to jumping into squads and getting some proper PUBG matches up again, because those nights we used to have with like 10, 12 people playing PUBG were absolutely awesome. I want to get back to doing that again. They were good.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that.
Yeah. 100%.
I need to get it reinstalled.
Yep, yes you do. Next up, Mick. How are you doing today, brother? Are you feeling a bit more refreshed today?
Yeah, got some sleep. Sleep's good. Yeah, it was a struggle yesterday. Up early for work, and then got back. The plan was to have a kip before we were streaming, but it didn't happen. And then it was a long night. But at least I fared better than Chris did.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So...
Shout out to Chris.
Shout out to Chris.
Yep. Sleepy boy.
And the Sea of Snoozes.
Sea of Snooze.
Sea of Snores.
Bless him.
But yeah, other than that, I'm all good. Been playing a bit of played and completed Stray. Enjoyed that, and obviously some Sea of Thieves. That's about it, really.
Yeah,
I'm not doing much Sea of Thieves outside of the stream at the moment because there's just nothing new. I'm with the delay of the season again.
Yeah,
it's another couple of weeks, so not a big delay. So it's nothing too bad. But I'm ready now.
Yeah,
I'm ready for the next season because I know what's coming and I want it now.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
All good.
Awesome stuff. Next up, Boxenberger. How are you doing this evening, brother? And as we go, obviously a huge shout out to yourself. I have joined Boxenberger as co-host on the World of Gaming.
Congratulations, man.
Which is obviously a massive honor, and we always have fun kind of doing the World of Game when I've been on, and it kind of helps. It helps both of us. I understand how hard it is to host a podcast, and trying to host one by yourself where you rely on having only guests on is almost impossible, because if the guest drops, then you're left a little bit in the shit. So
Talking to yourself.
makes sense.
Well, I always say, when I get accused of talking to myself all the time, and I always say sometimes it's the only way to be sure of intelligent conversation.
Well, that's one way to look at it. But yeah, you're absolutely right that it can be super stressful, and I still want to keep it a smaller podcast with a smaller panel. Because it just brings up a different kind of conversation, like bigger panels do. With bigger panels, you can talk about less topics, but of course you get more diverse answers to and views on certain topics, while that more direct format with two one-on-one or two-on-one podcasts. It's something different. I still want to keep it, but yeah, it's just with you, we always have such fantastic conversations, and we'll still have the weekly guests. But if a guest doesn't make it, it's just gonna be the two of us, and it's gonna be an awesome time. So can't thank you enough for joining, and tomorrow is gonna be exciting. But before we do that exciting show, we're gonna do this exciting show, and I can't wait to chat with you, gentlemen. It feels like forever, even though it's been only a week. But Jen, Mike, and Pat, looking forward to a fantastic show.
Definitely. So and have you managed to pry yourself away from Age of Empires 4 again this week, or?
No, I haven't. But yesterday, I was like, I was kind of on a streak. I felt like, yeah, finally found my groove into season 2, and I was this close of finally leveling up in the ranking system. And yesterday, I just got completely annihilated in every game. It kind of looks like people stopped playing different civilizations, and everyone is playing now the French. The French seems to be the civilization that dominates season 2.
Okay.
And I fucking hate them. I really do. They play like shit. They are no fun to play against, and they haven't been very popular in season 1. Like you can count it probably on one finger how often I played against someone in ranked matches who played French, and now everyone's doing it, and that's because they got a little buff, and now they are way too overpowered. They're
overpowered now, are they?
They are overpowered, and I do hope that they are course correcting it, because, like, when you play. I usually play English or Holy Roman Empire. Those are my two go-to civilizations, and I can take on any other civilization. I'm always enjoying. You have to use different strategies, of course, against different civilizations, but I don't feel like any of the others are overpowered or underpowered. But yeah, the French are simply no fun, and everyone seems to play that right now. So. Yeah, but I'm still hooked. I actually lost my rank. I'm now gold 1, but I'm going back to gold 2, and then I'm gonna make it to platinum. So that's the plan, and I don't care how many hundreds of hours it's gonna take me. So yeah.
Awesome stuff. Awesome. And last but no way least, General Skyrim. Dare I need ask what you've been playing, sir?
Probably not. I've been playing Skyrim. I've been playing Skyrim, and I've been playing Skyrim. Played a bit of Sea of Thieves yesterday, and played a bit of Skyrim. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. I'm looking forward to diving into Hunt Showdown again though tomorrow, because the new event just started for that. So I'm proper hyped for that. I'm gonna start my stream early tomorrow and sink some time into Hunt Showdown. I've missed playing Hunt Showdown. I've not played it properly for like 2 weeks, and I've been itching to get back in.
Yeah.
But I've been playing Skyrim, so That's been my addiction for a few weeks.
I'm really surprised you haven't started a Skyrim stream, to be fair.
To be honest, I have been thinking about it, but I kind of want to do that on PC with mods. I've never modded Skyrim on PC before, and I'm considering doing that and maybe doing a Skyrim playthrough.
Yeah. It'd be a good shout. Your PC should be able to handle some pretty epic mods on there now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Probably get another hard drive before I do that and have it dedicated to a separate hard drive. Put all the mods on
The
there.
Skyrim drive.
I know I've seen other people's mods on that game, and their mod files are like hefty files. So I'd rather
I'm not
have
being funny. The save game files on Skyrim are hefty. I remember when I was playing it on like 360 back in the days when we didn't have much in the way of storage. You know, I mean, I think I had the 500 gig drive, and I suddenly was like, "Oh, you have no room." I'm like, "What? Why have I got no room?" And I went in it, and I had 25 gigs worth of Skyrim saves. I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's time to delete some of them then."
Yeah.
Pretty hefty game for saves.
But yeah, I finished up the Vampire DLC. Finishing up the main storyline, and then I'm going to go into the Dragonborn DLC and play that. So probably got another good few weeks of Skyrim left in me before I end up getting bored of it again.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. It's the first time I've actually gone through it solidly again since it originally came out.
Have you not thought about...
I've dipped my toes in every now and then, but...
I was going to say there's quite a few mods on PC as well, where it isn't mods as specifically that change the game. It's like new adventures and quests and things like that. Have you thought about downloading some of them?
I'm thinking about doing when I do that on PC. Downloading some custom story
quests
stuff from people that have made it. Yeah, there's a mod I want to try out. It's Skyrim Co-op. I can't remember the actual name of the mod. But it took people a while to figure that out because they couldn't get the actual code in for the game. So there's a lot of bugs with that, but I'm interested in trying that out with a few people. So I think I'll try that at some point.
Yeah, that should
I
be
already
fun.
have the game on PC, but I've never dared to mod the game on PC yet. So that's my next venture when I eventually return to Skyrim after these past few weeks.
Yeah.
So it should make things fresh and interesting.
Awesome stuff.
Definitely. I highly recommend to check out YouTube because the thing with mods is in Skyrim that there are some fantastic ones, but there's really like some mods you need to combine. And once you do that, for instance, there's one that will add or change the lighting system of Skyrim. And if you add that with a certain texture pack, and then there's a physics pack, dude, the game is completely new. It looks like it's made in Unreal 5 or something. It is really incredible. So definitely check out some YouTube channels. If you,
I'm not going to dare to just jump into doing mods randomly on my own. So
yeah,
do it.
I'll end up
What's the worst that could happen?
Or just set on fire and fire extinguisher. Yeah, I'm not going to dare to do that without looking at some tutorials and figuring out what mods work best with other mods and such. So, yeah, that's what I love about YouTube. You can learn pretty much anything off of it.
Yeah.
No.
100%. Awesome stuff. Well, I've been playing. Obviously played a little bit of Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels. I played some Sea of Thieves, and I played some Age of Empires 4 with Boxy the other day as well. We got our asses kicked online, but other than that, we did well.
Yeah, other than that, we did good. Other than that, but you know, that was like those guys were playing the French.
Yeah,
it just sucks. And if you have like a super aggressive civilization like the French, you really need to have I don't know, an awesome strategy. I couldn't find online anyone who likes the French to play against. Only people like to play as the French because they are OP. So
yeah,
we need to figure out a good strategy.
Yeah,
I feel like the Holy Roman Empire is the right thing to do. I am. If you survive the first 5 minutes against the French with the Holy Roman Empire, I think your economy is so strong that they don't stand a chance. But you got to survive the first 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll figure out a strategy. I will.
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there. But yes, and obviously, as I mentioned before, jumping into PubG, tried that out. Again, looking forward to jumping back into that with friends and seeing what it's like. I've always preferred PubG in a party with friends than I have been playing solo. I always found playing with a group of at least 4 people on PubG to be the most fun. I've never been a solo player. I know Pat's great playing a solo, but I'm terrible solo. I am terrible. There's no one to call out shots or call out where people are. So like when you've just got to kind of go around by yourself and just make sure you're like ultra stealthy at all times. I'm not that good.
Yep.
But yes, other than that, we will get into today's show. First of all, we're going to be talking about Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels and our impressions of that, and what we would like the Forza Horizon team to do next at Playground. What expansion should come next? How can they really step outside of their comfort zone? I think Hot Wheels was definitely a comfort zone thing for the devs here. I think they've done it before. Knowing that they probably could do it again and better was probably an easy step for them. And in my opinion, I think it was a bit of an easy step for them to do this again. But we'll get into our impressions of Hot Wheels first and foremost. And Pat, you've definitely been playing it the most. You're only like 1 or 2 achievements away from full completion on the expansion, so just the one. So what's your full impressions of Hot Wheels, the new Hot Wheels expansion of Forza Horizon 5?
Well, it's I said it on the stream before. It's amazing, man. I like it. They made this Hot Wheels, of course, way better than the one before.
Yeah.
You got some new things. You got the magnetic track. You got the water slide. You have the ice part and stuff. It's really nice. It's huge. It's really big, and that's a good thing, especially with Hot Wheels. I think the Forza Horizon 3 was a bit smaller, not that small, but this is just, it's really nice, man. The way it looks, the way it plays. It's been a week out now. It's not that difficult to actually get the missions and stuff, but just driving around and just looking at the environment, the way things look, the volcano, it's amazing. I like it so much.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, I'm only 1 achievement away from completing it all. I need to complete all missions now. The only thing is left is the Horizon Open, so that's online races.
Yeah.
And I need to do the Horizon Tour. I did the Horizon Tour this evening. You need to drive like 80 kilometers or something. I'm at 54 kilometers now, so almost had that. And then there's only 1 more left, and then I completed it all. It's an achievement that I always want to get. Like if the Forza Horizon comes out, I want to get all those achievements, and when the DLC comes out as well. So
yeah,
it's going good.
Definitely.
But so far, I'm loving it, man. It's really nice. Last Friday we also had the Forza Friday, of course, with Paul AFC. We had Silent Cypher. We had Pereplug, Putsy, I think. Yeah, Putsy. We also had in the game, and we had such a great time, and just driving around, do some races, some crazy stuff, and yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Obviously, on top of that as well, you're getting those new booster sections where it's like wind turbines that boost you up the track, and you go like 4,000 miles an hour. What have you found of the car selection on the game that they give you for unlockables?
Okay, so it's like I know that everybody in the game, when you own like an S2 or S1 class car,
Yeah.
you always drive with the fastest car that you have in the game. Um, with this, you start with the B class, so it's pretty annoying just driving not that fast. So you need to get through the challenges and stuff to unlock all the higher classes.
Yeah.
It's really fun to do. You also get like a small story about how Hot Wheels is being created, who's behind it, and that stuff. So um, the only thing is that they tell you the story while you are driving,
Yeah.
and you're not really focused on the story, but more on the driving. So on the end, you just think by yourself, what they just told me, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not that, like I said, it's not that big a challenge
Yeah.
to actually unlock all the higher classes, but it's really fun. Just start low and just build your way up. You unlock new Hot Wheel cars that will also get higher classes, and you can use them or just use your own cars that you have. And that's yeah, I like it. So it's good, nice thing that they added this one to actually get a story behind Hot Wheels. So that's cool.
Yeah. And what do you make of the cars that you did unlock in this? Did you find many of them to be crazy? Because I know in the first one, the first Hot Wheels expansion, there was a lot of kind of crazy cars you could use. But in this one, it seems like they've kind of toned it down a little bit, so it's not as crazy. There's like 3 actual Hot Wheels cars, and then the rest of them just seem to be regular cars. What do you make of that? Do you think they could have probably added a few more crazy styled cars like the first 3 that you get? Because you get the one that's in the thumbnail that we've got for this podcast. So you get like the arrowed one, the really like
Yeah, the
hyper
arrowed one,
futuristic.
yeah.
You get the boat car, which is for like
Yeah.
the slalom and the streams. You get the one that you start with, which is like
The
an
Bone
unlock.
Shaker Jeep.
Yeah, the bone shake, and then
Yeah.
the rest of them are kind of just normal cars with like kind of super exhaust or something. What do you make of the cars
Mhm.
on offer on the expansion? Do you think they could have done better?
Well, like if you only look at the Hot Wheel cars that you get,
Yeah,
they might, like edit some more cars. It's not that they don't look bad. They look really nice.
yeah,
Like the probably these cars are the ones that they had when Hot Wheels was just announced
yeah,
years ago. Um, and while you're doing the challenges, you also unlock other cars.
yeah,
Those are not like Hot Wheel cars, but they look really nice. You have some really nice cars in there. But yeah, I think that they might needed to edit some more cars while you do these challenges,
yeah,
because you basically what you're unlocking the most is like outfits, helmets, that kind of stuff, and you have like it's around like 6, 7 Hot Wheel cars, and then some random other cars. So yeah, I think that's the thing that they maybe needed to add more, just some more Hot Wheel cars, because there are a lot of them
yeah,
that they could add it, but they didn't. So I hope that they might drop some other cars in the game. Who
yeah.
knows?
Throughout the season.
Yeah, because now you have the festival playlist. You can, and I heard that from Emil, from Peerplug. Now in the festival playlist, you can unlock the electric rally cars.
Oh, okay,
Um,
nice.
I didn't notice this until Peerplug just told me like a few hours ago. So yeah, that's really nice, because it's something new. Has something to do with the car and Hamilton or something like that. What I've
Sweet,
heard. So
sweet.
yeah, need to check into that as well. But
It
yeah,
was
the
like
electric car is like
I
a
was
big
gonna
thing
say,
now.
wasn't that long ago that they put in the Ford Mustang Mach E rally car as
Yeah.
well, and that was an absolute beast. And obviously
Mhm.
it has 2 driving modes. So in a racing game as well, you can select to have it as all electric, or you can select to have it as kind of I think it's electric. What was it? Electric petrol hybrid or something like that. So you can choose between
Now,
the
yeah,
two.
you can choose between like all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive.
Ah, yeah, Yeah, like a touch of a button as well, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Which is crazy. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting if that is the case and they've added them on. That's another cool addition to it as well. If they've added all these electric only cars, these super fast electric rally cars, so awesome.
Yeah.
Has anybody else played a bit of Hot Wheels?
Oh, yes.
Did I have?
You'd have. And what's your thoughts as well, Boxy? What are your thoughts on the DLC then?
Oh, it's fantastic. I've seen a lot of people complain, like they always do.
Yeah.
Well, Hot Wheels again. They've done that already. Don't they have something new? And you know how it goes. But it is really well done. It's a completely different kind of thing, like they had in Forza Horizon 3. Well, you can go off the tracks this time, and it's just so much bigger. And I feel like the showcase races are on a completely another level. I love it. It's fantastic. I mean, I'm not a big sim racer guy. I'm already an arcade racer. That's why Forza Horizon 5 is more my jam, like a Forza Motorsport.
Yeah.
This takes it to a completely another level, and also my kids are having a lot of fun with it. They have these Hot Wheel garages up in their rooms, and they were so happy to see like a Hot Wheel game, how they call it, on the Xbox, and we had a lot of fun with that as well. So yeah, it's fantastic. And the soundtrack, by the way, awesome stuff. So yeah, and beautiful. The game is simply drop dead gorgeous. I constantly drive around and think like, I want to see Fable.
Yeah.
I want to see Fable look
Me
as
too.
good as this. It's just incredible what Playground can pull off, and that it is with the old Forza engine. Yeah,
Yeah.
We're not talking here the new Forza Motorsport engine. I honestly can't wait to see not just Fable in that engine, but I also want to see Forza Horizon 6 in the new Forza engine, because I really feel like, yeah, Turn 10, they actually create the engine, but Playground are the ones that are mastering it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so exciting stuff, and I can't wait to see all that. But until then, Forza is gonna keep us busy. It's a fantastic content drop. I also want to briefly talk about the controversy about the DLC not being part of Game Pass, which I found ridiculous.
Yep.
Is that controversial? Yeah, I can
Oh
think
yeah,
that.
I've seen a lot of people complain that like
Yeah.
they have to pay actually, I don't know what it is, $20 or so for the DLC, which well, it was never announced that DLC for any kind of game is included in Game Pass. And we had other games like, I don't know, Outer Worlds also, where you had to buy the DLC even though the game dropped day one into Game Pass. I mean, that's part of the model. Yeah, give the base game to the subscribers, and if you want more content, of course, you gotta pay. Would I love it to be in Game Pass? Of course. Everything that saves me money is appreciated, but I don't really get why people complain. I just think it is one of these things that
I think it's, you know what it is. I think kind of started it, Boxy, was the fact that they got one bit of DLC free with Ultimate, and that was when Hivebusters come out. And then they assumed that DLC was going to be in Ultimate going forward, but that's, of course, this is the thing about a subscription service. You're going to get the base game, of course. You're always going to get the base game in the subscription, but you're never always going to get. In fact, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get the DLC in Ultimate. That's unless the developer comes out and says this DLC is going out for free. Then,
but okay, so
I mean,
but the people complain about that they need to pay for the Hot Wheels expansion, yeah. But
exactly.
You also have the car packs or the car pass as well.
Yeah.
And for those you also need to pay. it's not included in Game Pass, right? Or
Yeah,
am I
that's
wrong?
correct. Yeah,
but
it's not
people are
included.
saying people, and I've seen some high-profile podcasters actually talk about that like make it cohesive, that everything Xbox releases is included in Game Pass. It
No,
No.
is
I've got to disagree on that one. Yeah, there has to be a line that these companies draw where yes, you're part of a subscription service, but you are already getting the base game. Like, there has to be a point in time where we do make money. Like, and I'm not just talking about
Yeah.
from a subscription model and you're like paying to play in the subscription, but there has to be a point in time where we can monetize at least part of the game. And monetizing part of the game is the DLC.
It's the whole point of Game Pass originally, not that here's a bunch of games, and not just for Microsoft,
Yeah.
but for anybody who's in Game Pass.
Yeah.
Here's the game. Now go and play it, and you've got that chance to pick it up. It doesn't cost you it doesn't cost you anything, but it costs you maybe £1, a quid to start with, or whatever. And you get all these games. You pick them up and you play them, and you play a bunch of games that you've never played before. And the promise to those devs for them to make their extra money and their incentive to bring their game into Game Pass is when those people pick that game up, if they like your game, they're going to see something in that game and go, I really like that. I want that. I'm going to buy it for £2 or £5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'll buy something because the game didn't cost me anything.
Yeah, exactly.
On Game Pass. So I'll just go and buy this microtransaction because I don't mind giving a bit of money. I think it's pretty hypocritical that a lot of these people that are the same people that go out there saying, I want to support the devs. I want the physical version. I'm happy to pay $70 or £70. But then as soon as it doesn't happen, they don't get something free, it's an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Explain
I think
that.
like I've seen Stuffed Shaw say it in chat. Shout out to him. Like there should be a different kind of tier in Xbox Game Pass, so like the premium, ultra, super duper tier, where then everything is included. Of course, that could be one option. I don't want to introduce too many tiers because we know another tier is coming with the family pass, and then you have like already 3-4 kind of subscriptions to choose from in between gold, base, Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Ultimate, family pass, and then you know what I mean. But in general, I don't mind paying for a DLC because usually when I play the base game, I enjoy the game enough, then I really don't have an issue to spend another $20 to get another 10-15 hours worth of content for me.
Yeah.
That is I feel like, for instance, Outer Worlds, I played that day one in Game Pass, obviously. I bought both DLC because I just love the game. But that obviously comes down to the entire value discussion, and value is subjective. And if there was an option to get like all DLC, I probably would sub to that tier as well, of course. But I think like the entire idea of Game Pass is to lure you into the game. They always advertise Game Pass with like that slogan where they say, discover your next favorite game. And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, I know everyone here in chat is going to go download Age of Empires 4, and everyone is going to get hooked. And once they bring out DLC, everyone's going to buy it.
Gonna buy it, yeah.
Obviously.
So, just like Boxy's going to go out and download Sea of Thieves and buy some stuff from the Emporium.
There you go. Yeah, but that's the entire thing about this. Obviously, there will always be some sort of in-game monetization, because then what's next? Are we talking about microtransactions all being included in Game Pass and complain about that you have to still like buy skins for, I don't know, something in Sea of Thieves? Yeah.
Yeah.
so where does it end? I think like the value is very good where it stands right now,
Yeah.
and we all here, I think, on this panel bought the ultimate
Yeah, yeah.
pass
I,
or
I
something.
bought
to get
the entire
to
game.
actually
Well,
play the game 3 days early. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the things. Is like people are acting like they're surprised that there was a DLC that they weren't going to get when there was at the beginning of the game when the game was first coming out. There was
Yeah.
literally an ultimate DLC bundle, which if you had Game Pass, you weren't buying the game anyway because you got it free. But you could get the pass that added the DLC and gave you 4 days early access. So why are they acting surprised?
Yeah.
Literally, that's what that bundle was there for, so that you could get the DLC when it happens and get in early before it happened.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
the thing as well. Like,
exactly.
I was one of the ones that bought, and I always do. Or I own all of the Forza Horizons. Like, I always buy the Ultimate Editions. I know they're going into Game Pass, but I want those games, so I always buy the £100 version. That includes all the DLCs. But I've seen a lot of people as well that got that early access 40 quid thing and didn't realize they'd bought DLCs. They were like, "Oh, I get to play this." I'm like, yeah, of course you do. That's what the £40 Ultimate Edition upgrade was. So you could play the DLCs, not just get a few days early access. They're like, "Oh, I didn't realise." They were there. Well, welcome, enjoy. But yeah, that's
Now you just got to be patient. Wait for the DLC.
exactly. But not only that, with Ultimate Edition, of course, they got a whole lot. They got the car pass. They got everything that come with it. They got all the new kind of things that come with that. So there's a lot to it. It's just like you say. For me, it's, and everybody else might be a bit different, but I only, and much like Boxy said, I only buy DLC for games that I actually really enjoy. I never buy a DLC for a game that I'm like, that was okay, and I finish it and I'm like, I'm glad that's, like, I enjoyed it, but I'm glad it's finished. I never buy a DLC for that same game because it was like, it was enough the first time. It's a game that I truly loved, like Outer Worlds. To be honest, I don't know why I still haven't bought the DLC for that, because I loved it. I loved Outer Worlds, so I'm gonna have to actually pick up the DLC for that.
Oh, you gotta do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Especially
good.
the first
Recommend
one,
that.
Peril on
On Gorgon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
highly recommended.
Yeah.
So good.
Did they fix? Because I know they had an issue where you had to get up to a certain checkpoint. If you'd went past that checkpoint, then you had to start the game again. Have they fixed that?
Yeah, no, they haven't.
You
they
have
haven't-
to have
As far as I know.
a
Earlier
an
save.
older save file, like a save file before you start the final mission.
Yeah.
If you only have a save file where you have already started the final mission in the base game, you won't be able to start the DLC.
Right.
What the
Okay.
heck? That's so weird.
Yeah, it's
I
really
did that.
weird.
I did that. I jumped back in after when the DLC launched, and I was at the very end bit. Which, if anyone's played it, will know you're in a room with the guy that you're trying to rescue there.
Yeah.
And I was trying for ages to figure out how I was supposed to get the DLC to start.
Yeah.
And I had to eventually look it up online, and it was just in some Reddit thread that just said, "No, you need a save before here,
Yeah.
for it to work." And you're like, "Oh!" And luckily, I got one just outside of the mission, so. And it was an autosave as well, so it was due to be overwritten. Because you get like 3 autosaves, and it was the last one on the autosave list. I managed to jump back in and then just save after that. So
Yeah. That
Lucky
is kind
there.
of weird in that game, but other than that, the DLC is definitely worth it. And they have that current gen patch, the Series X enhanced patch, and it runs butter smooth, 60 FPS, 4K, super crisp image. Definitely worth playing.
Oh,
Definitely worth
100%.
playing.
That's another game I need to jump back into. It's
Yes.
one of them games. You're muted, by the way, Mick.
sorry, and I've just realised I have one problem with Outer Worlds, and that is on the Series S, it doesn't run at 60 frames. It uses the Xbox One update, so it runs at 30.
Didn't know that.
Okay.
At least, unless it's changed, and I could be wrong, but the last time I tried to play it, I thought I'll have that with me mobile so I can play it when I want it. And I went in it, and it was going from 60 to 30 is not a pleasant experience. So I just went, nope, I can't do that. So yeah, hopefully that's something that gets updated in the future if it hasn't already. Somebody in the chat may know, but I'm pretty sure it hasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't expect that honestly to happen because I think like that support phase for that game is kind of over. There's no more content coming. They're working on the sequel and Avowed, obviously.
I was just about to say, you know, I would love to see that team do it Skyrim, but they are Avowed.
They are. They are. It's called Avowed, and it is my most anticipated Xbox game. I can't wait.
I think it's more likely though to get an auto update from Xbox. You know, with some of this sort of stuff that they do in the background.
Yeah.
That just
FPS
automatically, that just boosts stuff. FPS boost. It's more likely to get one of them, I think, like you say, than it is to get an actual proper update. But that'd be good enough.
Yeah.
To get it up to 60.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Man, now
Maybe
I'm
I'll
intrigued
install that
to
when,
download it again.
Yeah, maybe I'll install that when I finally fight my Skyrim addiction.
I was
Yes.
going to say, you're in a Skyrim mode. You should definitely be trying Outer Worlds. Definitely.
Oh, 100%.
I think I'll wait though because I want to get through Skyrim again.
I'm
going to install
like
that.
4
Otherwise-
years later.
Otherwise, I'll be fighting between two RPGs, and nobody wants that.
It is definitely a must play for anybody who hasn't played Outer Worlds. It is definitely a must play. The characters, the conversations, the gunplay, like the entire game is so. Even Pat, you'd love it if you haven't played it yet. The gunplay on that
Outer
game.
Worlds, I think way back I jumped in for maybe an hour or something, but not that I didn't like it, but I didn't have the time after to play it again, and I think I need to reinstall it. It's somewhere, so
Yeah, you'll enjoy that. There's some of the guns and weapons in that you get on that game, and the characters that you. I just like how you can accidentally kill a key character, and then you don't realize he's key till later on. They're just like, well, where is such and such? Like, oh, oh no, and that's it. Like the main mission's ruined. And I think it was inside the city. You might remember that, Boxy, when you there's that guy that is in charge of the main place for the giant moonhead guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I killed him. I think I don't know whether or not you get a choice, but I definitely killed him.
I accidentally killed a priest or someone who pretended to be a priest.
Yeah.
During a shootout in a church in that Western world, if you remember that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even part of that story. I thought he was like a random NPC. And later I found out that if I wouldn't have shot him in a wild shootout, that would have actually been a companion of mine. So it's like crazy. The characters, the stories, they are so intertwined, and it is incredible how you can really change through minor stupid things the entire outcome of the game. It's amazing. It really is.
And that's what it is. The outcome of the game and how things play out is different for everybody depending on what actions you choose.
Yeah.
So whether or not you kill someone, whether or not you interact with someone, whether or not you take someone's side or someone else's side, and everything is different. And at the end of the game, when you finished it, it tells you what you've done and the consequences for what you've done. So yeah, I might just have to play it all the way through it again because I don't believe I have an autosave behind that final point. So it's not the worst of games to play through. Thankfully, it's not ultra long either. I think the main story / campaign thing's like 20-something hours. I don't think it's ultra long. I think it's... Yeah, you muted still, Nick.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, no. I'm trying to... There's noise going on, so I can go to mute it. But, yeah, it's not mega long. I'd say 30 hours, thereabouts.
Yeah, something like that. Of course, depending on how many side quests you do. But
Which
yeah,
I'm a sucker for side quests.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But even then, you get lost in that world. It's weird because it's a far more vibrant Fallout in space. It's just so much, like, there's so many colours and so many colourful characters, and the missions seem a little bit more interesting. I don't know what it is, but I like Fallout, but this game felt more crafted to me than Fallout ever did. So when I played this, I was just like, I love this game. Like I love everything about it. The map, like the maps and the world's not too big. It's easily digestible. You don't have to like, even though you have to go certain distances, it didn't feel like you were running for days to get to a certain place. It was just right. Like that game size was just right. And to be fair, I wouldn't mind if the new one, whenever that is ready, is of similar size. I wouldn't mind that at all. I think it would be pretty much perfect because it's a perfect bite-sized RPG. It's not like over the top, and I think we all know these days RPGs can get super big and super over the top.
Yeah.
I've never actually completed a Fallout game. I get far too distracted with what's going on in that game.
Oh god, yeah,
Yeah,
same.
same here. Same here. Never like played a lot of time in Fallout. No.
It's not a bad thing about the game. It's just, I just get so
Yeah, I end up just making the
overwhelmed
base
with
and then
everything
forgetting
around
the
me,
main
and
mission.
I'm like, oh, what's that over there? I'm gonna go and have a look. And then I'm like, oh, what's that over there? I'm gonna go and have a look.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that Family Guy meme. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Like, I get far too distracted with big.
Well, that's why you're still playing Skyrim.
Yeah, I get lost. I get lost with everything that's around me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go over there. I don't remember this cave before. Did I go in here? And then I find out I've already been in that bloody cave, don't I?
But yeah, going back to Forza though, speaking on what Box you said earlier with how pretty that game looks, it is absolutely awesome. And to slightly touch on what Pat was saying as well, where he was talking about the new track pieces, I think the fact that they've included different biomes in this extension was a great move as well. So you've got the ice, you've got the volcano, you've got like mountains, you've got like beach areas. It's off-road and on-road. It's a floating island in the sky as opposed to being an island just in the sea. So it's a little bit different on that perspective as well. It's just all more grandiose. There's a lot more going on with it.
Yeah.
But it's such a pretty game. But again, you'd expect no less from Playground Games because they are absolute masters at what they do. One of the
I really can't wait to
jewels.
see what they do with Fable.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh no. Just
But seeing like the Hot Wheels track is like floating in the air really high, and you have those parts where you have this magnetic track where you can like stand still and your car is like sideways.
Yeah.
And if you look down, you look at the mainland. So where like the mainland where you normally play, and it's crazy just seeing that
From
and,
miles in the sky.
miles in the sky. It's crazy. They
I wonder
really
how
did a
much
good
of the
job.
I wonder how many of the assets that are in that are actually things that they might have put in Fable. Because I can imagine, like like the big volcano with the lava and
Yeah, it's a
all
good
those
shout.
sorts of things.
Yeah.
It's a
I
good
wonder if
shout.
any of that is sort of stuff that there's just sort of across the board.
I would
mean, like,
imagine
the
because they've done a lot of
forest is-
photogrammetry as well,
When it
haven't they?
comes out, it'll be interesting.
It depends. I suppose you know where it is as well, though. It depends, and it sounds a bit strange, but it depends on the art style they're going for. Because Forza Horizon 5's scenery is photogrammetry, which is ultra realistic, or at least it's meant to be, at least as realistic as it can get in the previous engine. So, are they going to go for a photogrammetry approach in Fable, or are they going to have a different style? And that's
Well, I
think it'd
you
be more
all
like
seen
CFP, so it's
those
bit of both.
concept arts from the lead artist,
yeah.
Connor Cross. He's like the lead, lead something director at Playgrounds, and he put up a bunch of concept arts, and they all look and remind me completely to Lord of the Rings. So if that game doesn't look like a Lord of the Ring movie,
Yeah.
I would be really surprised. Hang on, I have those. Let me search briefly those. I have those shots. I can share them with the community here. I just need to find them. Please continue. Give me a
Yeah,
second.
but no, I agree. It's obviously I've seen the work that these concept artists are absolutely insane. By the way,
Connor Gross. He's the associate art director at Playground Games.
nice.
So there we go. how can I share that as when I'm a guest here? There we go. I
Right.
think you have to allow.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. 2 seconds and oh, 2 seconds there.
So,
I'll
there we go.
switch the screen over for a second. 2 minutes.
Yeah, please. Let me zoom in here.
And then this is another thing. There we go. Boop. There we go. Right. Open that up a little bit more. Right, so everybody should be able to see that now.
I don't know. I'm not sure on.
There we go. Right, so for those of you who can see that on screen now, I've just changed it up a bit. Got rid of that. You should be able to see the screenshot on there now. You might have to zoom in a little bit on your end though, Boxy.
Okay, hang on. Give me a second.
There we go.
So better.
Yeah, better.
All righty. So I'm just skipping through some of them, but obviously that reminds a lot. So why can't I? Why does Windows let me skip to the next image? Ah, god damn it! I'm pressing like.
Looks good though. Yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
I mean, this is just concept art, but you know,
it's concept art. Yeah, but
if it's anything like this, it's going to be mind blowing. No, it's still the same one.
God damn it! I have to.
Oh, there's a little thing on the bottom. There we go. We'll bring it back up in a second anyway, when you get the next one up.
God damn it! Now there we go. It should be. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties.
It is okay. They've just got a slightly off-center camera view at the minute, and I've like got a hole in the middle of my head.
So
there we
go. Okay, we had that one. Now, once I start sharing, it won't let me skip to the next one. How is?
I have no idea.
Like,
just get a few of them up at the same time and share them.
I can share my entire desktop probably.
It might be a bit easier. Just hide things that we can't see.
That window. Yeah.
OnlyFans page.
Okay, I'm just gonna share the entire screen now.
There we go.
I hope that not even then they let me skip. What kind of if someone from Microsoft listens, what kind of crap is that with the
yeah
viewer here? So there we go. We have a couple of different art styles. Now I can do it.
Wait, this is
concept
Fable.
artist working for Fable.
From Connor Cross. So yeah, come on guys. If this doesn't remind you of Lord of the Rings, I don't know what will. So yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely awesome. To be fair, there we go. Back to our regular viewing points.
Okay. Sorry, Dutch, for throwing your show off the rails.
Yeah, it's all good. We love to go off the rails.
Sure, I saw a pineapple on pizza in that folder box, eh?
Time for you.
But yeah, it does look beautiful, and to be fair, like I say, at both Playground Games, Ninja Theory, etc., some of their concept artists are absolutely phenomenal. We've seen that. I follow him actually, and he followed me back. He's called Pascal. He worked for Ninja Theory. He's working somewhere else now. But his concept art there is just insane, and he's playing around with Unreal Engine 5 at the minute as well.
Yeah, some of the stuff he puts out is bloody amazing. The one guy made all that.
Yeah, they've got some top tier talent at both Playground and at Ninja Theory, and that's, to be fair, those for me are the crown jewel kind of studios they've got, both Playground and Ninja Theory. Now I love the Coalition. Coalition are absolute masters at Unreal Engine as well. But I think, and to be fair, actually I would put all three of those in the top tier. Underneath those, I wouldn't
would
even
also
class
include
343 at this.
Obsidian.
Yeah, at the moment I wouldn't even class 343 as anywhere close to them.
No, not even close.
Not even a smidge. I would even put the likes of the Double Fine and things above them. To be honest, I think the work that them teams have got and the creativity from all of them are absolutely insane. But speaking on what it means for these devs and Fable, it's exciting. It's exciting to see where they're going with it. I'm looking forward to seeing an idea of what we can expect out of this game, and I think it's the anticipation that kills a lot of Fable fans. It's like, we know how good the Playground team are at what they do, so it's just increasing that hype more because we just want to see what they're capable of doing in a non-car environment. So when you take cars out of it, how good are you at making games elsewhere? And I think the Playground game team as well wants to prove that they can do something other than racing games. I think they want to show that they're capable of being more than just Forza Horizon devs.
They've talked about that they strive to be a world-class developer. They want to be named in the same sentence as like a Naughty Dog and these top-tier development studios that are or Rockstar and so on. And I think like to do that, you gotta branch out a little bit out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And show that you can do something else than a fantastic arcade racer. And I think Fable is the perfect chance to prove that. And there goes a lot of different things into a open world RPG like a Fable. We talked about that a little bit 2 weeks ago on the World of Gaming as well, if you remember that. But like story writing is something that they have absolutely no experience in. Like everything that is related to combat, they have zero experience in that. They like indoor activities, like character animations, all these kind of things. Gameplay mechanics in terms of an RPG, like how do you level your character, what's the progression system, the loot grind loop, and so on. Those are things that they basically don't have any experiences with, and for them to try that out now is amazing, and I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And the final question regarding Forza Horizon 5 is, where do they go next? What DLC are they going to finish it on? Because I do believe the next one is the last one. It's always 2 DLCs. So what is the second and final DLC we're going to get for Forza Horizon 5? What do you think they need to do?
I think it's going to be a more... Oh, sorry.
No, go for it. Go for it.
No.
Open floor.
I was going to say they usually do one crazy out there one, and then they do one more grounded sort of
grounded realistic. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like a realistic one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but usually it's the other way around, though, isn't it? They usually do the grounded one first, and then the crazy one is second. And this time they seem to have gone the other way around.
Yeah.
Didn't
So
they do it the last time as well? When they had that Lego DLC.
Yeah, they had
the second DLC and
Fortune Island, and then it was Lego.
Fortune Island, yeah.
And Fortune Island was one of my favorites.
Yeah,
we really enjoyed that one. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a double bluff. Maybe they think we're gonna go a bit more realistic, and they throw us micro machines or a monster trucks or something. I don't know. Transformers, yeah.
Well, that's the thing with Fortune Island as well. That was the first time they really introduced wild weather, like ridiculously wild weather, like ultra storms and like extreme rain and lightning and everything like that. So that was the test then, them testing this extreme weather scenario. And now, of course, what you see in Forza Horizon 5 is you get that extreme weather scenario because it's obviously it's essentially a tropical country. The Cancun is within the Caribbean, so you get the ridiculous kind of tropical thunderstorms and storms that come along with it. You get sandstorms, you get all this stuff. So
Yeah.
I think what you see with a lot of their DLCs is them testing different mechanics and things out for further down the line to see how it works out elsewhere. So it's going to be interesting, but I think I have to agree as well, Boxy. I think the next one's probably going to be a bit grounded, but where do you see them doing it? Because it's usually either a made-up place like Fortune Island was,
Yeah.
or it's an actual expansion. So it's like a second section altogether. Do you see them being a made-up place
very good.
again, or?
I'm not sure. I was thinking about, well, what other kind of biome could they touch upon that they have in Mexico? And I think like they probably have all the biomes from Mexico in there, but what they don't have is a snowy area. So like where you really drive on snow and stuff, and maybe they do something like that as the next DLC, that they go into some mountains and
Yeah.
have like a
But then
covered area.
in Forza Horizon 3, if I'm correct, you also had the Blizzard expansion.
Yeah, Blizzard Mountain. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's possible. It's a good one that you say this, because I really like that expansion as well. The Blizzard one is really nice. But yeah, I don't know. Like there are so many people speculating about the micro machines, the monster trucks. I think there were even people talking about bikes. So yeah, bikes is interesting, but then you get more like of the the crew kind of vibes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so hard.
No, I wouldn't expect bikes
think-
to be in this Forza. So
Nah.
maybe the next one they'll branch out. and do
Motorcycle.
I think they said the problem with bikes is the crash scenarios, because if you remember on, I think was it Project Gotham, if there was ever a crash on the bike, it used to just reset you back on the road.
Yeah.
So the crash would happen, you'd just fall off and bam, you'd be just reset, standing still back on the road. The problem with bikes is it changes the rating, because you've got to put there's violence, then there's crash, and that changes the rating and puts it up, and they don't want that. So that's why they've said in the past, we ain't touching bikes. So people keep asking for it, but genuinely, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Ever.
No. Same here. I don't
always
see
put gold
bikes
buggies in
in
it.
Forza.
Golf buggies. ATVs.
Yeah, true. They could
I
do
saw-
it.
It's really hard.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Joe, you've just reminded me. I saw a load of police on the motorway today, and I thought, what's happening? I can see all police, but nothing else. And as I was driving past, somebody had been driving one of those mini quad bikes down the hard shoulder of the motorway,
Yes.
and about 6 police cars had just pulled up and chased him down.
And of course,
Just
I was going to
reminded me
say,
of that.
like, I was going to say as well, like, for an expansion, of course, you can go into Rally again, but for those of you who remember the first Forza Horizons expansion, it was the Rally DLC, and that Rally DLC was actually probably one of the best rally forms of games that I've played before as well, because you really felt the speed of going down these rally tracks and tearing it up and drifting around all these side things. But again, it's been done before, and if we're talking about something different, and again, it's going to be hard for them to come up with something new and different. What did they do next?
Yeah.
It's certainly going to be an interesting
See,
concept.
I've got a feeling the next Fast and Furious movie is the last one, right?
Yeah.
What if they do a DLC for that? The last time they did a Fast and Furious DLC was in Horizon 2.
Forza
right?
Horizon
Yeah.
2.
I'm
Yeah.
not s-
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, and 2 was that.
they
But
could
that
do
was not like really an expansion. That was like a separate game.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a small, like, you can call it like a DLC, but it was a separate game of Horizon 2. So it's
When they could do
possible,
something
but
similar.
Yeah.
yeah, could be.
It'd be interesting to see where it goes. Be interesting indeed.
When would the next DLC be expected though? Towards the end of this year?
2024.
Yeah, probably.
With that,
Not.
that timing,
I don't know.
Because from what I've googled here, the next Fast and Furious movie comes out the 19th of May next year.
It depends because
Nah,
this
that's too quick.
DLC's like this DLC's already behind schedule. Like as me and Pat have mentioned before, it's usually out within like 2 to 3 months of the game releasing, and then they have the next one within a few months after that, and then by that point, the next Forza Motorsport's usually coming out.
Yeah.
But of course, we haven't had the next Forza Motorsport. That one doesn't drop until next year. So I would probably look to see. I would probably expect to see the next expansion being maybe middle of next year now
What for Horizon
Possible.
5?
for Horizon. Yeah.
Well, that
Possible.
I was
could sync
I was
up
thinking
well with
bringing
Fast
it out
and
around
Furious if it
Christmas.
is a Fast and Furious DLC. I'm not saying it is,
It
but
it depends
knows
on
what
how
they're
big it
working on.
is, doesn't it? It depends on how big the expansion is. If it is like they're gonna go grandiose, like this Hot Wheels DLC is 4 times the size of the one in number 3. So if they're gonna do another expansion of similar size, i.e., 4 times the size of any other expansion that they did previously, then it could take a little while longer to get that done. But it depends on what they're creating. It's really hard to know.
Yeah.
But we're going to move on to another game that 2 of our chaps have played here.
let me put it one thing.
Yeah.
Just popped into my head with Forza Motorsport coming out spring next year.
Yeah.
Like realistically, Forza is coming March, April, May,
Mhm.
somewhere in that window. I don't think that the DLC is gonna be next year. It will still release this year. They can't squeeze anything into 2022, to 2023 anymore. The first half is too full. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I just
So
don't know whether
it's
or not
gonna
they're
be-
going to have it done in time. That's my thing, because they've only just finished and released this one, and it's July now. And it took them
Yeah.
since it released the original game to release this one, and that's long for them. Usually it's much sooner.
But you know,
Yeah.
it's not gonna come out in January, so they could bring it, of course, in February. But that's when we all expect a game like Redfall or so to drop. I mean, like before the first week of June.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the next E3 is. That means in the first 5 months of the year, they will have games like Diablo 4, Redfall, Forza Motorsport, Starfield. What am I missing? There are 2 more coming. Yeah, I'm blanking on them.
Gollum.
Damn it. The thing is, you can't really squeeze any more into the first 5 months. And out of these 5 months, January is out as well because no one releases games in January.
Yeah.
So we are talking really about 4 months: February, March, April, May, for like all these major games.
Yeah.
And then you put in that mess, you put a Forza DLC. It's gonna get overlooked.
Yeah.
So I think like they put really every effort behind it because they have no games for this year left. So like a Forza DLC in November is really what they need, and they really don't need any DLC content next year. At least not in the first half. We still don't know about the second half, but in the
Yeah.
first half, no.
Yeah.
It's possible, like you're saying, because like Dutch also said, like this one was like really behind. Normally after like 3-4 months they drop the first DLC, and then like 3-4 months later they drop the second DLC. So it might be possible that they release the second DLC this year, because this DLC is not that big. You know, like you can complete this game like in a week. So it's possible that they might put it in this year. Who knows?
Yeah.
You can say
It's
that
a
about
good one, by the way.
Yeah, but you can say that about most games, like
Yeah,
maybe not a
of course.
Battlefield, but everything else, like a Redfall. Come on, let's be real. It's like a week, and we will all have finished it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think especially a game like Forza Motorsport, pardon me, Forza Horizon is meant to be played longer. Even though you have finished all the races, you're gonna still continue to play with your friends in co-op for roaming, for I don't know,
Yeah.
XP board challenges and whatnot. So yeah, I don't think like that's the thing. So if they are smart, and I know it's always easy to say, yeah, they should bring it out in November, and when stuff isn't ready, just it comes back to the general problem of the studios, and just get your project management in order.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't have that issue. But yeah, let's see. I still don't think they're gonna put it in 23. It would be so stupid.
Fair
I'd
enough.
probably say they might go with December for the content.
Maybe
Just
December.
because-
December is also fine. Give us like a Christmas.
The only reason I think that is because Halo's season ends November 15th, I think it is.
No one's gonna care about Halo anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, mark my words.
Unless they come out with something big in the next how many months until
No.
November.
That ship is gone. They had their chance. They messed it up. There will be like this hardcore community. Of course, like our little Twitter bubble will be for 1 week. Like everyone, oh, season 3 is so great. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't
agree
think it
with
will
you.
pull in the masses.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like when we talk about October, November, we will all be busy playing like God of War and Hogwarts and Gotham Knights and Callisto Protocol, and we will be playing those games, and no one in the general masses is gonna play Halo anymore. Like, yeah, what they dropped another map for that game that was supposed to come out 2 years ago, and then they screwed it up, and then they delayed it, and then they released it without. No, I'm not gonna. That's just how it is. They had their chance, and I don't think like Halo is gonna be able to redeem itself. I don't see that happening.
You
Yeah.
should just change the name for that to Halo Finite.
And by next year, it will be completely lost in vain. I mean, if you seriously look at the first half of the year, not just the Xbox portfolio, but also if you look at all the third-party games that are coming next year, honestly, people are not gonna play that. We have like Warzone 2 coming next year. We have Overwatch in its full release in the first half. We have games like the Suicide Squad and all these kind of big third-party games coming. Yeah, I don't see the Halo
True.
coming
And then
back.
we've also got the Modern Warfare 2 coming out, October?
Right,
Yeah.
right. This
I
year,
totally
yeah,
forgot
people
about
are really excited about this one.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Halo's going to get drowned out towards the end of this year. So, yeah, I think you're right there.
100%. 100%.
That's not gonna happen. Like there's this hardcore community, of course, but it's a couple of thousand people globally. You will not see that the player numbers spike immediately. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
think what they need to do with Halo is do a sort of soft relaunch for that game. They need to obviously work out what they're doing with it first, and then
I don't
soft
think
multiplayer relaunch.
I don't think it's really what they need, a soft relaunch. Honestly, like even let's say that they drop that battle royale mode in somewhere in fall next year or whenever that will come out. Because they sure as hell are not gonna release it in the first half. Like I said, the first half is too full for them. So they're gonna drop that somewhere in the second half of next year. Even that won't do the trick. It just won't. What they really need to do is just take a break. Okay, Halo Infinite wasn't it. Reorganize their studio completely. Throw out some of the problem causers and the people that weren't able to fix the issues that they all knew about, and then do a Halo Infinite 2 or whatever in like 4 or 5 years, and that's what they need to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only time a soft reboot will be possible, and again, it'll only be for a short period. Is campaign DLC that was promised? I think that's going to be more of a.
Yeah, even that. Do you honestly think if you bring like a DLC, a story DLC, like let's say a 10-hour, 5 to 10 hour
Like I say,
thing?
soft, and I said even then it's not going to last long. So, like you say, it's going to be unlike a Sea of Thieves or things like that are going to have a community that are dedicated to it and are going to keep playing it and playing it, playing it. The replayability on Halo isn't as such as a regular games as a service game where you've got weekly tasks and things to do outside of just your arena shooter. Like there is no, unlike Destiny.
There's a lot that needs to do with Halo. It needs to be overhauled in a significant way, like the progression system.
Yeah.
Still, it's not in the place it should be.
There's so much wrong with it. Honestly, by now, I don't. The thing is also like their 10-year plan. If you think about it, look at this game from a visual standpoint alone. In like 5 years, I'm not even talking about the 10-year plan. Like 5 years, when we will have played games like Hellblade, like all these games that will set the standard. When we have played a Stalker 2, when we have played these Unreal 5 games, and you look at the Halo, and it just looks like that, and Call of Duty and all these games will run on id-Tech engine, and you will see the new Quake, the reboot in id-Tech 8. Dude, it's not gonna happen. Take a break, take the L. It was a fun game.
I think
for what it was, and then just move on and make the next one.
I think honestly,
good Halo again.
Something needs to happen at 343 Industries now. Whether that they pass the reins to a different studio or what, something needs to be done because they've dropped the ball a significant amount of times over the 10 years they've had to play around with the franchise.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got Halo 4. The campaign was okay, but the multiplayer was not great. Halo 5 came out. It was the other way around. And then Halo Infinite came out lacking a significant amount of content, and they're struggling to get things done. At some point, leadership needs to take a look at leadership at 343 Industries and go, well, you're not getting the job done. You've had 10 years to work with this franchise, and you've barely done a good job of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I need a significant shake up there. And
I agree.
To be honest, I think once the Activision deal goes through, give it to one of the COD developers and let them try their luck with something Halo, even if it's an ODST game. Give them the chance to prove themselves. They've got all that talent that could make or try and make a decent Halo game, and they're not putting it to use.
Yep. I agree.
And now I'm depressed.
Moving on to something a little bit more furry. Speaking of other games, these two gentlemen have been playing this week. Mick and Boxy, you've both been playing Stray. What do you make of Stray so far? Mick, I know you finished it, so what's your thoughts on the game so far?
I started playing it, and I started it with my daughter because it's got cats in it. She was made up. It very quickly became apparent that it's not the sort of game that she was going to want to play because there's these, no spoilers, but it's these they're almost like rats, but not.
Leeches.
I don't know what they are. Yeah, and they try and eat you. And that was it. She timed out then. That was it. She was done. So I was like, no, I'm still enjoying it though. So I carried on, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot actually. I like the way that you move around. The gameplay was really sort of fluid. You know, it felt good. I heard somebody on another podcast complaining that you can't jump around to just wherever you want.
Yeah.
I thought, well, no game really does that. I mean, Assassin's Creed maybe, but you know, it's got to be some restrictions. And it is an indie game.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
then it would completely change the game's mechanics
would,
and ruin the
yeah.
mood.
Yeah.
It's like I think like the star of this. I mean, I'm really enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
I think like the star really is the way how this game guides you through its world. Like
Yeah.
you will really soon realize that it's not a super linear game. Well, it is actually, but it kind of gives you the impression that it's not, because you're suddenly thrown into an open city and then it just tell you, okay, you got to look for this guy, and that's about it. But then soon the game tells you where to look for how to get there, and it is. I think like this is really well done, and you wouldn't be able to do that if you would just be able to climb everything, jump on everything. It's really super cool done how this game guides you through its world and tells you and gives you the impression that you found out, okay, I needed to do this in order to get there, and that's really something
Yeah,
unique.
it does a good job. It does a good job of helping you, but not too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Is the way I would say. It doesn't literally have a line that says follow this and it takes you where you're going.
No,
There's
it
none of
doesn't,
that.
yeah.
It just says, oh, I think there's a guy. So you'll talk to somebody and they'll say, oh, I think this guy was looking for one of them. And then you're like, oh, well, I know him. I've seen him. Where did I find him? And then you have to go and find him. But after you've done it for a few times and you've been round the houses, as it were, you've found most people and you're like, I remember that guy. I know where he is. And you very quickly, they're not big open world areas. There's only a couple of them, isn't there? There's only like two maybe. Was it three? I think it's two.
Well, I'm in the third right now.
size.
I'm not sure. It kind of feels like I'm close to the end, but yeah, it's not like
So there's about three at the most, sort of medium-sized open world areas, and they're not too big.
Yeah,
but they're not too small.
Yeah,
it's nice. I enjoyed it just because I mean, so General C's been playing Skyrim, and I love me some Skyrim, but I have got to a point where it'd be nice to just have some games that are of a sort of smaller size that I feel like I can actually just complete and move on.
Yeah.
And I don't need another Valhalla.
Yes.
You know, I want to go back and do the DLC on Valhalla. I just can't bring myself to pick it up.
I'm exactly the same. As much as I've heard great things about it, I put too much time into that regular.
It was nice to have a sort of small open world game that felt attainable, something I could do and work through, and I really enjoyed it, and I appreciated it for that, and I wish there were more games like that, because I don't need every game to be like Valhalla. I need some games that I can just jump in and feel like I can do it in a few sittings and then leave it and just move on.
Yeah,
that was one of the most enjoyable things about the game that I found, was just knowing that I've done it, and it was a little bit is that it already? You know, it was quite short.
Yeah.
I do wish it was maybe a little bit longer, but it did just feel nice to think, at least I've actually completed that. I feel like I've actually done something and not just played it for a bit and turned it off and thought, I'll go back to it and then never do it. So, yeah.
Did you both play it on PC, yeah?
Yes, well, I did.
I played it on PS5.
No.
And what was the...
I had no problems.
Yeah.
No issues at all. Not a single one. Don't know whether you did, Boxy. But
no, I didn't encounter any issues. Not from the game. I realized again how bad the capture function on PS5 is. It's
relatively fair price as well.
Yeah. I mean,
the
everyone
the Xbox capture on the PC worked great.
Yeah. No, the Xbox capture function is not really good. There are so many issues with that, and it's actually bad. But
the PC version is all right.
I don't know. I always use the NVIDIA capture function, so but yeah, the on Xbox the capture function really is not good. But PlayStation really found a way to make it even worse. It lacks base functionality. Like, why can't you clip in 4K? You can only do that in 1080p. You can only record like straight footage in 4K. And then you have to turn off like on a system level, the HDR functionality and their own color gamut enhancement functionality, it is like really a mess because they fucked up their codec for HDR. So, but it's not enough to turn HDR off in the game or on the system level. You have to additionally turn off their color thing. It's like beyond me. And then when you want to, then you can only record on your hard drive, and the space on the PS5 hard drive is really already limited.
Yeah.
So then you have to copy it onto a USB. And even though the PS5 has a USB 3 port, they are not using the USB 3 protocol for copying files. They only do that for games. So when you copy like your 20 gigabyte hour-long 4K recording, it takes really like 40 minutes to copy that onto a USB stick. I'm like, Jesus, what kind of system engineer does approve to such a thing? Like, you have a USB 3 port. Just use the fucking speed you have. It's like, really. And it's not like they don't support USB 3 for everything else. Like I said, games copying or something like that. You can use the USB 3 protocol, just not for copying the recorded file. It's like, why? So it's really like, yeah, DVR functionality on Xbox is not good, but it's even worse on PlayStation. And I absolutely don't get why both of them don't prioritize that, because it seems like the smart thing to do in a world where everyone is talking about gaming on social media. So why can't Xbox give like a proper editing thing for clips, that you can properly share your clips onto social?
Free promotion, isn't it?
Yeah, and then get rid like of that weird proprietary codec that they are using for their videos that lead to the color degradation. Like when you record on Xbox, we all know it. Yeah, your colors and the clips look like shit, and that's because they don't use an industry standard codec. So why don't you just use a free codec that is out there on the market, and your clips look good and people actually want to share their clips? Like, I don't get it. And then you go over to the PS5 and it's even worse. So I don't know.
Sir Panto in the chat says, I think we found Boxenberg's pet hate.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But he's right though. And I saw...
chat, he says I'm coming in saucy. So yeah, because it annoys me. Like I recorded 2 hours of footage in Stray, and I forgot I turned on HDR on the system level, but then I have to go to a different menu setting in the menu and turn off their color enhancement thing. And I forgot that, and so 2 hours of recording completely wasted. It's like, yeah, it just sucks.
I was watching Dealer on his podcast, and they were talking about this again. I mean, it seems to be a reoccurring thing about the DVR and on both systems, and it would just be. I think the best thing that anybody said, I think it was either Dealer or one of them had said, it'd be just nice to have an update on what's going on. It does just kind of feel like we got an update. I know that he got an update a couple of years. Well, when we first moved to the Series console,
yeah, it would have been last year.
We got an update then saying, "Oh, it's a priority. It's something that we're looking at," and all the rest of it. And we've had nothing.
And they
since.
started the year 2022, and then in the beginning of the year,
give us an update.
It was Jason Ronald who tweeted it again. Yeah, it's still a top priority for us.
That's where he was getting his info from.
Happened in almost 2 years now.
Just give us an update. That's all we want. And even he just said, "Tell us to sod off and leave us a little words to that effect." But he said, "Just tell us to go away if it's not happening. But just tell us something, whether what's happening."
Exactly. Then I look at the kind of updates that they are putting out, like, oh, you have now little icons in the bottom left of your game to see whether you need a disc or not. I think, like, who the fuck cares? Do the things that people are actually using, and that will help your actual platform. Because
Yep.
like if you make it easy to share good looking clips out there, people will just do it, and it is free advertisements for your games and your system. So I really don't
What's
get why
going on
this
with
isn't
Pat?
an actual priority.
Oh, there he goes.
And we shall
Yeah, I don't
momentarily
know.
change
I
this.
think like Pat had enough of my rant. So
You might have
It
accidentally
froze for,
refreshed
like,
it, but I'm
a
sure you'll
solid
come
30
back.
seconds.
But
yeah,
yes,
well,
in terms of Stray
enough with
though,
that.
Boxy, what are
Yeah,
your
Stray,
impressions on
it's
it from what you've played?
oh, it's magnificent. Like I said, it's not just the world, which is really well designed in the way how it guides you to solve the riddles and such. Like the mood is exceptional, the music is phenomenal, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a very calming game. Like after playing 3-4 matches of intense Age of Empires 4, it is perfect to just relax, play as the little cat, and I love it. And it actually has a fantastic story. The story is really good.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
I
didn't
enjoyed it.
expect that, but it's good.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, the story. I was surprised because a lot of that was another thing as well. They said about it's in a cyberpunk world, but actually,
Mm.
there's only really one section of it that's a bit cyberpunk. The rest
Cyberpunkish,
of it
yeah.
is like sewer, and
Sewer, yeah.
slums.
Yeah.
And then the other bit is like a more sort of modern future. It looked a bit more like something out of Mass Effect. It was much more modern, sciencey.
Yeah.
So there's only really one section that's cyberpunk, but I think everyone, it's not a spoiler to say that it's robots, isn't it?
Yeah.
The things that are in
Yeah.
it. You do actually quite get sort of. I mean, they're quite well. I don't want to say voice acted because they're not.
Written.
They're not
Yeah,
voice
but
acted, but
the writing is really good.
the
You get
writing,
kind of
yeah, is
attached to
really
them.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, oh, that poor little robot
you
here
do
or
feel
there.
for them. Yeah,
Yeah. It is good.
Awesome. Would
But yeah, I
you
enjoyed it.
both
I thought it was great.
having played it both? Do you think it stands a chance of being one of maybe his indie game of the year, or do you think it's there's others that you've played this year that potentially stand out above them?
I think it could be in the running, definitely.
It definitely could be there, up there. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other indie games
yeah.
we've had this year.
I mean, the best indie game I played this year is, or I don't know whether you would consider it an indie game, is Chorus, but that was actually released in December last year.
Yeah.
It's just me playing it this year. Uden Chronicles was also fantastic, but I also don't know whether we consider that.
Turtles, is that classed as
Yeah,
indie?
well, Turtles, yeah, maybe. Weird West.
As much as I loved Turtles,
Weird West, shout out to that.
Yeah.
That's also definitely candidate for indie game of the year.
Yeah.
Trek to Yomi was good.
Yeah.
But I think like Weird West or Stray, just a little tad better.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoyed Turtles, kind of like not thought about it much since I played it.
It's a good.
I like that with most sort of games that are that sort of side-scrolling beat 'em up. They're only really good while you're in the mood or when they're fresh in your mind, and then they're that thing that you don't play for ages, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I know what we'll play. You know, you got some people around, and you go in and you have a good laugh with it. They don't tend to stick around, any of them. You know what I mean? I don't think people are still playing Double Dragon. You know what I mean? But quite happily, I'd jump into it with somebody in co-op just for a laugh. You know?
Yeah.
So
I definitely need to get back on Turtles and do the hardest difficulty though, but there's no way I'm doing that on my own.
Awesome stuff. Has anybody here had the chance to play as Dusk Falls yet?
I haven't touched that one.
I have it installed, and I'm gonna give it a try after I finish like my Addiction of Age 4 or Stray. I don't know.
So you're never going to play it then.
Yeah, the weird thing is, it kind of is like a Telltale game, yeah. So back in the days, I was a big fan of the Telltale games. Like, it is perfect when you come home stressed from work, yeah, and you just don't feel like you need to play something with action and stuff. But I don't know what it is this time around. I'm just not feeling it right now. I'm not in the mood.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Still feeling that gaming lull of this year. Just nothing taking my fancy.
You see,
that's probably it.
Later on in the year, I think we'll be fine later on in the year because we've got a number of crashing paths. Here we go. Yes, crashing paths back. So
my boss already told me to take some of my overtime because I have so much. I said, like, dude, I'm gonna take that in October. No way, I'm gonna take it now, where I don't have anything to play. I'm gonna take my overtime in October and November. Yeah.
We've got Plague Tale, we've got High on Life, we've got numerous games coming out around there, so it's gonna be plenty to play in October, November.
Saints Row. It's crazy. Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah. Well, we say Hogwarts, but fingers crossed, because of course this week we got the news again that Gollum was delayed, and what else was it that was delayed as well? Avatar was delayed. That was pushed back till 23 or 24.
Delayed, yeah.
That's a significant delay because that's not even saying that's coming out next year. It could be the year after. That's a hefty delay. KOTOR's been delayed, yep. That pretty much sounds like indefinite.
Yeah, it wasn't a 2022 game. So
yeah,
but
that one's been almost indefinite. You know, it's like
that's almost
gone,
canned.
Really.
It's probably cancelled. It's what I like.
Judging by, speaking of KOTOR, though, we'll touch on that briefly. Obviously, KOTOR wasn't just a case of indefinite delay. It was the fact that they had a vertical slice ready to show the bosses. They showed the bosses, and then the two main directors were fired. So it sounds like it's in a much worse state than what we'd probably think.
Yeah.
If they show a vertical slice and then get sacked.
How bad does that vertical slice have to be to get the two main people sacked? Because you think
bad.
when they come into those demos, they're the sort of people that must.
Would you say maybe it's Prince of Persia bad?
God, that's harsh.
Honest, I thought it didn't even exist, the remake.
I didn't know we were going that bad so soon. Wow. But you've got to imagine that the people who are investing in this, they must see some really ropey demos of games.
Yeah.
That are just like, look, we know that this isn't done, but this is what we can do. We've got this lined up. This is happening. So there's got to be a bit of, these people that come to these things have got to have, they're not going to get shown a crisp, smooth, 60 frames, all the textures version, are they? They're going to get a slice, like you say, of a game that's due out in another couple of years. For them to come in and see a slice that's so bad that they both get sacked, I mean,
maybe the boss was like a really big fan of the original. He was like, "This isn't Knights of the Old Republic."
This is.
I know Xbox got a lot of flack for not taking up that remake. I'm just saying, maybe they have seen something.
Yeah, maybe they saw that same vertical slice and were like, "No, I'm not doing another Scalebound."
I believe Saber Interactive were drafted in to help with it.
Yeah.
And this still happened. And then somebody said then that Saber might be taking over.
Well, see, this is.
Yeah, but isn't Saber? Or am I mixing things up? Isn't Saber a Russian studio? And
I'm not
they
sure. Don't Saber the ones that used to do some of the old Disney games.
What was the studio that was supposed to do the Witcher 3 next gen patch?
That's a good shout. Forgot about that.
Because wasn't that Saber? Hang on, I need to Google that.
Was it, or was that not a Russian or Belarusian studio that was doing that? Which
Sorry,
is why
Jim, what did you say then? Saber did what?
Saber Interactive are in Maplewood, New Jersey, United States.
right, no,
Okay,
it won't be
then I
them.
must be
Yeah.
mixing it up.
I was going to say
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the
yeah.
Witcher devs were Russian or Belarusian or something like that, because that's why they knocked that on the head and brought it in house.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, it's for, again, you don't want to have that situation because it could be that graphically it looked fine, but technically it was terrible. And we have to look at why. If we go back and have a look at cancelled projects where it was down to technical issues, you do have to go back to Scalebound and see how Microsoft just had to can Scalebound because technically it was an absolute mess and it just wasn't working. And that's essentially what KOTOR's doing. And instead of just scrapping KOTOR, they're just going, like, this is a mess and we need new leaders. This is clearly something's not right with this game. Or even at that particular stage, showing a vertical slice, technically so terrible that it costs two guys their jobs. That's a hefty delay. That's a hefty delay.
Saber Interactive make Evil Dead the game and World War Z and SnowRunner. So they're not games that I would necessarily
attribute to KOTOR.
Attribute to a KOTOR game, yeah.
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 But then again, we've just been saying, teams like Fable, Playground Games should sort of step out of the comfort
Saber
zone
Interactive,
and
they
do stuff.
did help work on Master Chief Collection. They've worked on Combat Evolved Anniversary.
Yeah.
They've worked on Crisis 2, Crisis 3. They've worked on a lot of sci-fi games, so...
Briefly touching on...
They even helped work on Halo 3, apparently, so...
Okay. Briefly touching on As Dusk Falls, I have had a little opportunity to play it. This game...
I just Googled it. Which Saber Interactive has a Russian studio, and they were supposed to do it, and they pulled it from that.
Yeah, so it was Saber. Right, okay.
It was Saber, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so touching back on As Dusk Falls, I have had a little opportunity to play it, and I wasn't overly keen on it, but I was going to give it a chance. So again, take my opinions on it as a pinch of salt so far, and of course everybody's entitled to go out and try it for themselves and see whether or not they like it, because I've seen a lot of people say that they love it, and then I've seen equal amounts of people say that they hate it. And for the same reasons, really, it's more just the art style is more like just a flick picture book. It's more just like watching something as a comic. There isn't any real animations going on there. The voice acting and the story is brilliant, but there isn't much gameplay in the game. There's not actually much gameplay in the game at all. It is just choice-based. The controls are pretty damn slow on a controller. It is literally point and click where you've got to bring the cursor over to the options every time as well. And like the cursor speed's slow as shit. So it becomes what was that?
Does it work with a mouse?
Not on Xbox, I don't believe. No.
No.
Nope.
Missed opportunity.
Yep. It's
can't really say I'm interested in.
It's sluggish.
I've never been one for those sorts of games.
I mean,
even with the temptation of easy gamer score on a lot of those games, it's never been enough to make me want to play.
It would have been much easier if they just had the D-pad option where instead of like scrolling the mouse slowly over with a cursor that does this, just to being able to go that one, or that one, and just go D-pads and then just select it and highlight it, select it up, down, boop, that one, boop, that one. And then when you need the QTE times, like if you're shooting somebody or whatever happens in the game, then fair enough, use a cursor for that particular section, but not the entire thing where you've got to like slowly point to the option you want every time. And
are you talking about like Mass Effect style? So you lift you highlight the thing you want and press the button. The reason they don't use that is because Mass Effect owns the rights to that design. You have to pay to use it.
Damn stupid.
Really?
It's one of those things, a bit like the Nemesis system on Thingy, where it's got a copyright up to a certain year. And I've got a feeling the Mass Effect one runs out in a year or two.
Yeah.
So you might start seeing more games that have got Mass Effect style controls, which I'm looking forward to because I like that. But Mass Effect own that copyright to that system.
Yeah. And another thing on it as well, and obviously Andrew Cullinane as well, he's obviously playing it, and he said the long pauses between each line of dialogue is also infuriating. I agree on that one as well. Another thing that I disliked about it is you'll have certain options on the game where you've got a relatively decent amount of time to make a decision on what you want to do and what you want to say or make a choice. But then all of a sudden the next option's like, make a choice now. And it doesn't give you much time. You're like, whoa, give us a heads up. Like, this doesn't look like a relatively important decision I'm making on this particular question. Why is it this time's far quicker than this one beforehand? Like, the line of questioning sometimes is a bit strange in it. Again, it could be a really great story, but when the game mechanics are obstructing you from experiencing that story to its what it should be and actually enjoy the story, that becomes an issue. And I think that'll, for a lot of people, that'll be the stopping point, is unfortunately just the UI, the UX, and just getting around the game in the first place. Like, selecting options shouldn't be a chore. It should be pretty straightforward when all your game is selecting options. That should be the easiest thing in the game, but it's a bit of a task. It's sluggish. Very sluggish. And the fact that the game size as well is like 60 odd gig on a Series X, and the best part is 30 gig on a Series S. It's a significant size considering there isn't actually much gameplay there, and the vast majority of it's audio as opposed to visual. So
that's weird though.
Big, yeah, it's a
such a
big
big
game
game.
for something that isn't a game, really. It's like a comic book.
And that's really weird.
Okay.
Because
So
you don't
Yeah,
have,
that's
like,
weird. Yeah.
high quality textures and stuff in that game. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I say, like the art styles, it's nice, but I think that potentially could be one of their budget drawbacks, is the fact that they couldn't, like, yes, they did this stop animation thing where they like do this thing and it animate and it shows you the next scene, the next scene, the next scene, the next scene, but it's not actually fluid. I think that's probably part of their I hope it's not a design choice by choice. I hope it is down to budget and it went that way, because I think it would have been a lot more fluid and it would have looked better if the entire thing was animated in that art style, as opposed to just these like flip book animations where it's like one section, next section, next section. I don't know. Well, it's like I say, it's each to their own. A lot of people are gonna love it. It's a Marmite game. It's gonna be one of those where some people absolutely love the story and love it, and a whole lot of people aren't gonna play it because it's far too sluggish, and it's more just like a comic book than it is a game.
No.
Can
Good to
confirm. I had it installed, just fired it up just then, and can confirm doesn't work with the mouse.
Yeah.
Just tried it. But I see what you mean about the reaction time between the pointer and you like moving the cursor.
It's slow, isn't it?
You go and then it goes.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
So it's like there's input delay more than anything.
Yeah, about a second's worth.
That's weird.
It's really weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Sort of thing that
sluggish.
you wouldn't thought would be a problem, but
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. Again, it's got a lot of praise for its story, but I think the hindrance for what you would class as the mass audience is the controls, in my opinion. I think if the controls and the selecting of options was a lot smoother and a lot more responsive and quicker, then a lot of people would play the game. Because it's just a nice little chill, select some options, do X, Y, and Z, that's fine, do. But it's so bloody sluggish, you're just like, oh god. Like, I feel like it is a chore to play it, which is why I just stopped.
It's surprising that they don't they haven't incorporated, because it's clearly it's got a cursor.
Yeah.
So it clearly should have had a mouse control. And yet you and I have been playing
point and clicks forever.
point and clicks forever, but what's the recently the Blade Runner,
Yeah.
and that's got mouse and keyboard support,
Yeah.
and it works great. Works better. It works like like it does on the PC.
Yeah.
It can't be that hard to implement it,
No.
and there's no lag. It works great. It just feels like a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
overall,
do want
again,
to take a look at what I posted in a moment.
for everyone that's got an opportunity to try it and wants to try it, or if they love story games like that where it's choice based, give it a shot. You might enjoy it, but fair warning, the controls are sluggish as hell. That's all I'm gonna say. It could be a point where you just like, I really want to see what this game's about, but this is too damn slow to progress with. To me, it was just the controls just took all enthusiasm of me wanting to progress with that story out of it. It could be one of the best stories I've ever listened to or watched, but them controls spoil it for me. It's pretty straightforward. But yes,
Not something I'm going to jump into
anytime soon.
Unless someone does a bet when I'm streaming.
Oh,
and wants me.
you just don't know when to quit, do you?
Tony. Yeah, I'm gonna make you play all the way through.
I figured out one thing. I'm very bad at gambling.
Yes, don't gamble.
Don't gamble.
But yes, we will jump into the next topic, and that is, in fact, we'll speak of several leaks here. Although I do not believe the one. Jen, thanks for sharing that in there. I did see that earlier on Twitter as well. GTA 6 will have a female protagonist, and is scheduled to release either next year or the year after. It might have a female protagonist, but it's definitely not releasing next year or the year after.
Yeah, I don't think that either.
Not a chance.
I'd be very surprised.
They only announced it when into
surprised
full
if it does.
production. They only announced it when into full development, like the beginning of this year or something. That's not coming out next year. Not a chance. Or 2024 for that matter.
Minimum of 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Probably more like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
25. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. 2025, maybe it's 2026. I think for GTA 6.
There's
I don't.
a lot of people complaining that if it does have a female protagonist, you know what some people like on Twitter, they lose their shit whenever the words female protagonist is.
It's
is
easily
put into
fixed that.
something.
What you do is you go onto Twitter and you click on those little 3 dots and you click block.
Yeah.
Or mute.
But one thing I've never understood about, and I understood why they did it on GTA 5, because I loved the story on GTA 5. I loved the fact that they had 3 playable characters, and that's new for any game actually, to have 3 completely different characters that you can literally switch between. Then they have different prompts, so you can he's got a new story kind of element, go over to him. He's got new ones, go over to him. And they all eventually merge together near the end. That was awesome. I actually loved that story the first time round. But it's another game as well to me. That's a one-off. Once you've played it, you know the story. I don't want to play it again.
I've never replayed that story again. Oh, well, I've tried to, but
yeah, but
I replayed it when it
first 3 missions.
Yeah, when it came out on the Xbox One, because I played it on the 360.
Yeah,
because I always was a huge GTA fan. GTA 4 is still probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Just because it was kind of the old style stories, but with the newer style graphics.
And there was a lot more activities to do in GTA 4 as well, like the bowling and all that. So felt so missing from GTA 5.
But there was that. But then when 5 came out, I was obviously massively hyped for it, as you would be when I'd followed the whole series. And then even back to like the original first one and London and 2 and all the way through those years. But when 5 came out, I enjoyed it like you did, played through it, thought it was great, and never touched it again. Waited for the DLC that they did say was going to happen, and they lied. And then said they didn't say that, and they fucking did. So, but yeah, that happened, and then they remastered it on the Xbox One. and I have to say I did complete it, but it was a struggle.
Yeah.
Second time round, it was more just for the points, and I didn't bother going back and trying to get any of the medals or anything like that. I just played through the story bit by bit.
Yeah.
Got through it, finally finished it after it took me much longer, and I was done. I was like, I'm not touching this game again now until they give me some proper DLC. I want new campaign. I want like the old GTAs. I want add-ons.
Yeah, the Ballad of Gay Tony and
Never
things
gonna
like that.
happen.
Never happened.
Yeah, never gonna happen now because online killed it. So
Yeah.
I think that the
So I'm done with them.
traditional campaigns are sort of done. I think it's going to be heavily live service in
Yep.
the campaign.
But in
and
terms of
and that's the case, I'm through with them.
In terms, you know what it is though, like outside, because obviously in this one in 5, you had fully voice charactered 3 main protagonists, and all of them were awesome.
Yeah.
If they're gonna go down as a female, are they gonna do it fully voiced again? Are they and again, it's like some of the best missions they've had in GTA 5 have actually been the heist missions and the online missions that they've got, as opposed to the single player stuff. And that is a non-voiced create your own custom character that you've created in your online. I don't understand, and I probably think the better option to avoid all of these trolls talking about playing as a woman or a man or whatever it is, just have 2 voiceovers, have a male and a female voiceover for the same character doing the same lines, and when you create your own character, you are that character, but the voice is whatever person it is that's done the voiceover for it.
Odyssey.
Oh, if they do anything like that where it's choose your own voice, you bet your ass they're going to put microtransactions in there and approach others like celebrities and stuff to do a guest
Samuel L.
voice
Jackson.
in the game.
Samuel L.
You have
Jackson
to
doing
pay like
the
$30
voiceover.
for the voice or something like that. And you know full well that GTA.
Oh, they'll do
6
something
is gonna
ridiculous,
have
but
NFTs out the arse in that game.
But you know what I mean in terms of how easy it would be to approach that. You could design your own character and just have the voice being voiceovered from these 2 main people. And if you can choose to do the standard,
like a basic voice sort of
Like
thing.
Odyssey.
yeah, like choose to do the standard characters that comes with it, or do you want to create your own female or male protagonist and just use the voiceover that we provide you? It's
To be
a
honest, I
relatively
wouldn't be
simple
surprised
approach.
if they've got a male and a female character, and then the third character is your own custom character, and they blur the lines between traditional single
It
player.
was the same with
experience,
Assassin's
but
Creed
also
Valhalla as
online.
well, though. The male or female, and Assassin's Creed Origins, male or female. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, male or female.
I could see them do something like that, but I don't think we will get fully customized characters. The GTA games are way too scripted for that.
Yeah.
So
I think we'll see the true colors of what Rockstar is like in the
If
next
there's one
game.
thing we know, is they
Because-
love their microtransactions.
Yeah, but I think the true colors will show if they're not massively controversial. If you think about every GTA game that's come out, there's always been lawsuits from celebrities claiming to be like Lindsay Lohan and all that for GTA 5. There was all sorts of things in the newspapers and that about violence and all the rest of it that was in from almost every GTA that's ever existed
Yeah.
has had some sort of massive controversy about something that goes on in the game.
Yeah.
And lawsuits out the ass. And if this one is not about something even more ridiculous, it's gonna be if there's not like a transgender character or something like that in it, it won't be. They're not trying anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're too worried. They don't want to lose that money anymore now. They're quite happy to keep making it.
Yeah.
So
That's
we'll see.
what I think, though. Rockstar have got so comfortable, and we all know that they make a killing
think
off
they've
the
got lazy.
multiplayer, and that's
Yeah.
why I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if GTA 6 is all online.
Yeah. Speaking of other leaks, though, of course, we know Sony, and this is another thing I shared the article with you as well.
Just
Go on.
before you go on, I think Boxy's needing to go.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. That's fine. No problem, Boxy.
unfortunately,
Long day for
Unfortunately, I
you.
gotta get up
Yeah.
super early. I have to be at 5 a.m. in the office. So, yeah.
That's fine, bro. If
but-
you let people know where they can find you, and of course I'll be joining you tomorrow on the World of Gaming, so let people know where they can find that and what we'll be talking about.
super easy to find. It's Boxenberger, and you will find the YouTube channel. You will find it. Find me on Twitter, of course, and Xbox, PlayStation, everywhere. And yeah, what are we gonna talk about tomorrow? We have some cool topics. Some things like GTA thing we already discussed. We will talk about some Diablo news that dropped, KOTOR, the Xbox earnings call. We will discuss the PlayStation VR 2 news and many other things. So the list is long. This week we actually have some cool topics to talk about after a little dry streak over the last week. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome stuff, brother. Awesome stuff. And again, once again, thank you for coming today, brother. And you have you enjoy your sleep and your rest.
Thank you. I will. And you two
Take care,
guys take
Boxen.
care.
See you all later.
Take care, man.
See you later, Box.
Okay. Last little topic here, guys, and I'm going to quickly change the overlay again so we don't look a bit weird and cut off there. There we go. Yes, the final section here, of course, the PlayStation seem to have got another leak issue again now. Now, originally, they had some major leak problems way back in 2014 where a lot of their content and games and information about games, etc., was leaked, and then data leaks in terms of customer account information and so on and so forth. I had major problems back then, and now they've got more internal leaks when it comes to games releasing. Now, of course, what we had over the last couple of weeks was the major leak of gameplay footage for The Last of Us 1 remake, which was leaked and then essentially prompted Naughty Dog to release the 10-minute trailer that they had to go out, that they probably were sitting on for a bit. So they then forced them to put that and release that officially. There have been more God of War Ragnarok leaks very recently as well. And it seems like that could leak further before its official unveiling, gameplay unveiling, prior to its release. So they seem to be having a lot of internal leak issues. Personally, I think I know what the problem is, but again, this seems like an industry issue, and if it is an internal leak issue, to what I think, then their NDAs are obviously being breached significantly. And by that, I mean through outsourced studios that help create the games with them. So we know that PlayStation Studios, specifically the likes of Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica, have a lot of outsourcing teams. So they outsource certain parts of the project to certain other development companies, smaller development companies, like indie companies, to help create assets or work on assets for them. And it seems like those could be the source of the leaks. So my personal opinion, of course, is that there is obviously something wrong with the NDAs, or these particular companies they're working with need to be sanctioned, or something needs to be brought against them to prevent these further leaks, because you wouldn't have these issues if people aren't leaking it in the first place. So obviously someone doesn't care that much about the fact that they're working on the game and they're deciding to share it out before the actual studio's ready to share it out. Despite how new or old you are to the industry, you don't do that. It's like rule 101. Even when you're doing beta testing for ourselves, we've done beta
One way to be
testing, alpha
blacklisted
testing,
from
and everything
working in the
else.
industry as
Insider
well.
jobs, you get an NDA, it tells you do not do it, or you get removed. Is that same rhetoric going to be given to the internal studios that leak this information? Because the only place it's going to be coming from, the only place this can come from, gameplay-wise, and showing of gameplay footage, is from internal studios. If it's just a screenshot or a picture of something or a little bit of information, that can be data mined. That's a different thing entirely. When you're talking actual full-on gameplay footage, that has to be from an internal studio. It has to be from somebody that's working on the project. Jen, what do you think it could fall down to, and what do you think the the solution for them is.
Well, they do a lot of outsourcing, so I really wouldn't be surprised if it was that. It could be outsourcing of testers. It's a ridiculous problem. If they bring in people into their studio, surely they would confiscate devices from them so they couldn't take screenshots or footage on their phones or whatnot.
Yeah.
So it sounds like maybe another studio that's outsourcing, helping build the game and all that is leaking gameplay. So, like I said, there's no way Sony would let this leak from their own studios if they're getting people go in to test the game.
Yeah.
Because their devices surely would be left outside the area where they're testing the game.
Yeah. The one thing I think,
Yeah,
you know what the best thing, the
be an
best
outsourcing
way
tool.
I've seen alpha testing was when Outriders did it. Remember when Outriders did the alpha test and they had your gamer tag emblazoned in watermark all over the screen? So it's like, you cannot get away with this. If you release this footage, your gamer tag is everywhere. Like
Yeah, it's not just them. That Ubisoft do that as well. I've done testing for Ubisoft, and
They do the
it's
same.
literally just a blanket of your gamer tag and like a unique number all over the screen. So,
Yeah. And I think that's the way it should be done.
And the Sea of Thieves inside as just like a single thing that moves around the screen, so
Yeah.
you can't predict where it is. It's random. But I always think that I mean, I'm glad they don't do what Ubisoft do, because when you try to actually do the testing, it's massively off-putting.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they don't, but I would never break the NDA anyway, so
Yeah.
it'd be fine.
I-
But yeah,
I had the
it's,
same with Battlefield 2024, 2042 or something.
Yeah.
2024, I don't know. It's been long. With the alpha test as well, you got the whole screen was full with like all kind of things. It's ridiculous.
Does it sound like maybe they spent more time doing that than actually doing the game, though?
So I get why studios do that, though, because those are the studios that have typically had big leaks come from the past, and
Exactly.
that's the reason why they do that now, because they've got to put a stop to it.
And I think for the QA
Maybe
team,
they
because
should
it's
do a
like,
more
to me it
discreet
looks
thing,
like
though.
these leaks are probably coming from QA, because it's a building which looks like it's almost ready to rock and roll. These aren't like near the end, and again, these games had already gone gold by this point anyway. So to me, it seems like the point of no return, and these are just doing the final bug kind of stretches, and that's when whoever the QA testers are, whoever it was, is then leaking the footage. So to me, it would be better option to do what the likes of Ubisoft, etc., do, and just emblazon the screen with whatever your username is in like a fine print. So it's not too obstructive, but it's there. And if you were to take a screenshot or a video, it would be easily recognizable as your name, and being able to kind of highlight that. I think Sony need to go down that route. So at least then, if it leaks, they know fully who to do it. And again, it's essentially breaking an NDA is almost a criminal offense in certain circumstances, because it's a legal contract. If you breach a legal contract, then you're legally obliged to the issues that kind of come across you. Specifically, if you're working on the game. If you're just a person doing alpha testing and is the general public, it's just a case of you are banned.
Banned for permanent.
Yeah. I'd argue some of the testing I've done is just as strict.
Yeah.
You wouldn't break it.
Yeah.
Because it is a criminal, charge. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and I'm actually more surprised that they're having trouble with the Sony, because we've seen some of with the Apple and the Apple and Epic battle brought to light a lot of the sort of contracts that Sony have actually done, and it all came to light during that court case. I'm surprised Sony are having that much trouble, because some of their contracts are pretty darn strict.
Yeah.
So.
But
It's weird that people are willing to break it. Really.
Exactly, and these QA testers are it to me it seems like it's more these outsourced QA teams that are doing this. It has
Yeah.
You're not gonna. obviously no one internally, surely no one internally is stupid enough, like an actual in-house developer is stupid enough to leak this and risk their job. Because that's it. That is a major. If you've got to think as well, though, like working for the likes of Sony Santa Monica, you would think those working for the likes of Sony Santa Monica or Naughty Dog is essentially top of the tree in the development world. Working for a studio of that caliber, you would not want to risk it by doing something as silly as sending some leaked footage out to the general public. Like, why would you risk an entire career on
Why
that?
would you, exactly, yeah. Why would you ruin your career over that?
Stupid to do.
But, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
it's ridiculous. Some people out there care more about the clout, though, than their own livelihoods, and it's bloody stupid.
It's a bit weird.
Yep.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, it is.
But yes, it was a little bit of a shorter topic, that end one, which is why I've left it till the end. Of course, we had a lot of discussions about video games this week. Things are a little bit more light on the ground. There isn't too much in-depth to speak about at the moment, but that's fine. That's okay.
I will say, though,
Yeah.
about these leaks, if you are planning on playing God of War, go and mute all the possible keywords like Kratos, Atreus, all the possible names of characters.
Ragnarok.
Go and mute them now
Yeah.
before it's too late. Because if leaks hit and certain, characters bite the dust, you're going to get that leaked. So do that in advance before these big leaks possibly.
Yeah. It's a shame that we have to do it in this day and age, but there are a lot of accounts out there that literally aren't planning on playing the game will find the leaked ending or whatever it is, and then they'll just share it out because they don't care.
Mhm.
And
They
that's
did
what
The Last
happened.
of Us
That
too,
is
because
exactly
they
what
didn't
happened with
care.
The Last of Us. That's exactly what happened with The Last of Us. The person that shared it out didn't care about the game, weren't going to play the game. They just did it to piss people off.
I am so lucky I managed to avoid that because I didn't mute any word for The Last of Us 2.
Yeah. But
Taught me a valuable lesson, though.
yeah. But that rounds up this week's Midweek Mix-Up. Hope you enjoyed the show, chaps and ladies. And for all of those watching live, thank you very much for being here every week, of course, and enjoying the conversation and joining in the conversation in chat. And of course, for those watching on demand, we hope you enjoyed it as well. The last couple of streams we've had, we've battled with some copyright issues, but we've managed to overturn the vast majority. Specifically, the last one with me and Jen on the weekend, where we covered Marvel and DC and things. Even though we had the sound completely muted, they still copyright claimed everything. But we got everything overturned.
Because there's an entire community on YouTube that's dedicated to just reacting to trailers. They make their livelihoods off of it.
Yeah,
it's fair use. They can't.
It's a trailer at the end of the day. It's not the entire film. If it was the film, I'd understand. Yeah, copyright the shit out of me if I'm putting the film up. But but it isn't. It's the trailer that you released. Yeah. You're not making money on the trailer yourselves, so stop copyright claiming the trailer, for crying out loud. But and it didn't even have audio, but we've managed to overcome those, so those copyright claims are down now. Fair use policy came to fruition. So we've got those back. But yeah, other than battling copyright issues, we hope you enjoy all of the content we put out. Probably try to do a little bit more in the coming weeks, etc. Just getting kind of more settled and think about other things to add as content. But of course, every Sunday, every Tuesday, and every Wednesday, we're here for the weekend edition, Sea of Tuesdays, and the Midweek Mix-Up podcast, of course. Still need to get back to doing some gameplay streams. It has been a while, probably a couple of months since I've done some actual gameplay streams outside of Sea of Thieves, so I need to do that. But other than that, we shall get into our outros. First and foremost, Mick, let people know, of course, where they can find you, brother, and what you've got coming up.
Yeah, I have not got a lot coming up, but I am hopefully going to be going to EGX.
Nice.
So that's something I'm looking forward to. And yeah, we've got Sea of Tuesdays, obviously. And streaming with Sightless Combat on Sundays with whatever game he wants help with. And yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to Sightless. Actually, he has just been hired by the National the National Blind Institute or something like that. I forget the name now. Apologies
Nice.
for that, but he's actually helping them out with their accessibility with gaming for blind people.
Oh, that's awesome.
Congratulations
Congratulations.
to him. Yeah, well done to him. So
Next
well
time he's
done, man.
streaming, I'll have to go by and congratulate him.
Yeah,
That's
so
pretty good. That is.
That's good. And yeah, so that's good news for him. And yeah, that's about it really. So you can find me in the usual places: Twitter, Xbox, Twitch on Xbox Mick29, or just on Xbox, it's just Mick29. And yeah, that's it.
I'll throw a link in chat.
And yes, thank you for that. Cheers, Jan.
Awesome stuff, awesome stuff. Next up, Crashing Pat. Let people know where they can find you, brother. And where you're going to be streaming next, because of course you were streaming just before the show, playing some more Hot Wheels. Yep. Are you going to be doing some more PubG streams with the new map?
Yeah, just wanted to say that, guys. I'm going to jump back into PubG. Like you said before, Dutch, we need to jump into some squads, play some games, of course, on a new map, with the new game mode, 4K 60 and stuff. So yeah, definitely gonna do that, guys. You can find me, of course, on Twitch, Petru070_MWMU. Twitter, of course, same as my name, not Crashing Pet, but Petru070. Of course, I'm gonna jump back into the Hot Wheels. Just need to do some racing, and then I have all the achievements. And yeah, I don't know, just gonna see what's coming up on Game Pass and see what I can play. So yeah, but probably it's gonna be PUBG. Maybe this Friday, not sure yet, but gonna be Forza Friday, of course.
Yeah.
Last Friday we had a lot of fun with the guys and girl that we played with, so might be jumping into Forza Friday this weekend. So
awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks for Twitch for Pat there as well.
Very nice.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Jen.
Awesome stuff. Next up, General Skyrim. Of course, you're not just going to be playing Skyrim. Tomorrow you're going to be starting the stream off again on Hunt. Let people know where they can find you.
Getting back to Hunt on my Twitch channel. New event. I'll be playing that a lot. It's a 2-month-long event, so it's going to be plenty of Hunt Showdown streams on my end. And you can catch me at the _general_C. I'll put a link in chat there as well. And that's the same on Twitter as well. Same name.
Awesome stuff.
And obviously back here on Sunday.
Yes. Yes, indeed. No idea what the conversation is going to be about yet. I still need to think about the topics, but we'll come up with something. Thankfully, the Sunday stream is far more laid back. We just talk about anything. So last week we spoke more about Comic-Con and Marvel and DC and TV programs and The Boys. We spoke more about that than we did about games. I think we spent about 10 minutes speaking about video games and an hour and a half speaking about Marvel and DC and things like that. So Sundays are far easier.
Though,
yeah.
Entertainment. People love.
Yeah.
People watch TV, watch movies. So discussions about everything really. That's what the weekend show's all about.
Exactly. Full entertainment show. Far more chilled out, and because of course there's only a couple of us, it's far more interactive with the chat, because of course there's far less panel members to get opinions of and things like that, so it's far more involved in the chat and being able to talk about things you want to talk about and things like that as well. So yeah, if you're interested in doing that, I know it's Iron Lord Sunday, but if you're interested in jumping over on a weekend on Sunday evenings, feel free to do so. It's always good fun. But once more, thank you to everybody in the chat again. Hope you enjoyed the podcast again this evening. For those of you in the US, have an awesome rest of your day. For those of you in the UK and Europe, of course, have an awesome evening. Almost the weekend. Enjoy it. General Bourbon. And we will see you all later. Good evening and good night.
See you later, guys.
Take care.
See ya.